Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Carl Fitzpatrick.
Well, having successfully exited two insurtech businesses, Paul Prendergast and his business partner Peter Birmingham spotted an opportunity to address an existing problem in the insurance industry. Backing the concept of embedded insurance, Kayna is a data-driven vertical SaaS solution which they are bringing to the US and UK markets. Paul joins us now to tell us about the growing popularity of embedded insurance. Paul, we'll be talking about Kayna and how its software platform is simplifying insurance management for businesses. But first, I'd like to hear about your previous experience in the world of insurance technology.
It has been a bit of a journey over the last 20 years, Carl. So myself and my co-founder Peter, who I've worked with for that 20-year period, this is our third insurtech business. Both the previous businesses we're involved with, they're still operating. They were both acquired. And they still employ quite a number of people in the Cork region. I was Enhanced Technology. We won Deloitte Fast 50 a number of years ago with that business, and then Blink, which was acquired in 2017. So we've been knocking around the insurance and the insurance technology business for quite a while.
So what problem were you trying to solve when yourself and your co-founder Peter Birmingham set up Kayna?
So with Kayna, what we found was we could see that small business insurance was definitely a problem to solve. You know, typically a small business will talk to their broker once a year, and the broker is, you know, they don't get paid enough commission to spend, say, if you take a restaurant in Tramore, they can't spend 2 weeks down with that restaurant to really understand every single element of the business. That's very difficult. They're getting paid X amount of euros commission. So it has to be transactional in nature. If you roll that up to hundreds and hundreds of companies and thousands of companies, the people who actually take the insurance risk at the back end get very little visibility on who they're actually insuring. So then they have to make some assumptions, et cetera, et cetera. So they're kind of in a little bit of a dark room. So we looked at this and we said, is there somewhere that we can access really good data about these businesses so we can get a clearer picture on the business, so we can give them a more personalized, better insurance? So it's better for everybody. The small business gets better insurance. The insurer and the underwriter understands their customers better, and the brokers understand their customers a lot better without having to spend a huge amount of time and money gathering all this information. So our technology allows them to plug into software platforms where they run their businesses. It's called vertical SaaS platforms. There's a big underinsurance issue for small businesses where they've got effectively the wrong insurance, and there's a big protection gap. A lot of small businesses don't realize that they need professional indemnity or public liability or whatever that may be. They only start understanding when they go and make an insurance claim that they have the wrong insurance, and then all hell breaks loose. So that's not a great position for anybody. So that's what we're trying to solve with Kayna.
Talk to us about the concept of embedded insurance and the growth which is expected in this market.
The general view is that embedded insurance is probably one of the biggest trends right now in insurance. You know, and we all know the early stages of embedded insurance when you're booking your Aer Lingus flight to go to London. They offer you insurance at the very end, but it's getting much, much more sophisticated as everybody and every business is running their whole lives and their whole businesses online. So there's lots of interesting data that you can use to make that experience. So the general view is in the next 8 to 10 years, 20% of small business insurance will be transacted through embedded insurance. And that's typically where you're getting your insurance through a non-traditional channel. You're getting it through maybe a piece of software that you use to run your business every day. So that typically embedded insurance is embedding it into channels that are quite new to selling insurance. So it's very interesting. It's very new. The insurance industry moves quite slowly, but it's so important. It's so large that, embedded is definitely one of the probably. You go to any conference, there's two things people are talking about: artificial intelligence and embedded.
And on that basis, is it most likely so that we're going to see this business insurance purchased through, let's say, your accounts package
Yeah, that's exactly where it's going to go. So what you're trying to do for the small business is, instead of getting a PDF document once a year that you have to start filling out, you know, really you're trying to simplify the application, because the accounts package or even the wider ERP types of software packages that are out there, they have a completely clear picture on that business for the last year. So they know where the business has gone over the year, and they know you've hired 6 more staff, your turnover has changed, you have more inventory, therefore you need this type of insurance. You could be a micro business and you've hired your first employee, you need to have a different type of insurance. And then throughout the lifetime of the year, you might forget to ring your traditional insurer or broker if things change in your business. Whereas the platform that you run your business on, they know all these things that, the date the business has changed over a period of time, and can prompt you and say, hey, you need to tweak your insurance. The whole point of this is to make sure that you have the right insurance. And insurance is only important when you go to make a claim. When you make that claim, they're going, great. You tweak your insurance because you hired 10 more staff or your inventory changed. And there's lots of interesting use cases. Like, for example, if you're a florist, you don't need huge inventory coverage. You need it for Mother's Day and Valentine's Day. You don't need it in October when your inventory levels are low. So it's those type of data-driven insurance innovations can be driven by using all the data that's available on these platforms.
So essentially, this is a new way of distributing insurance, Paul. So on that basis, are you selling directly to large insurance companies?
So we partner with large insurance organizations. One major partnership is Willis Towers Watson, third biggest broker in the world. So we work very closely with them. So they're our partner, and then we go together to these vertical SaaS platforms. So what we do is we're a technology business, so we wrap our technology into what Willis Towers Watson do, and then we go to market.
And because your key client, Willis, is US-based, are you going to be starting there?
Yeah, so US is very, very important to us. So we have a number of programs in the US, and that's going to be very important. So we spend quite a bit of time there. So we work US time quite a bit. So that's pretty standard for us. But yeah, I think it's going to be 75-80% of our business over the next couple of years.
And how helpful has Enterprise Ireland been to you in realising your expansion plans?
So look, at Enterprise Ireland, every tech entrepreneur in Ireland will tell you they're one of the big key USPs for Irish entrepreneurs on the global stage is Enterprise Ireland. They're incredibly entrepreneurial group of people, incredibly supportive. So, over the last 20 years, I've worked very closely alongside Enterprise Ireland, and I think they are an exceptional group and hugely supportive. So I don't think most of the successful entrepreneurs out there would have got there without Enterprise Ireland, particularly at the early stages. So very, very important. And there's the team in Ireland, but then they've got offices all over the US and London and further afield. And if you ever need support, you're one phone call away from having somebody on the ground that can assist and help you network locally. So critical for success.
And what is your strategy for gaining traction in both the UK and US markets?
So a lot of it's shoe leather, a lot of it's kind of being on the ground and working with people. And then it's we do a lot of marketing, a lot of going to conferences and whatnot. And it's good old-fashioned shoe leather. But, in a lot of cases, people will do their research without talking to you. So you've got to have a very strong technical presence online. So a developer can go onto your website, see what you do, how you do it, make sure that everything is in order. And that's very, very important because, it's really the technical community engage with us and they go, okay, these guys are really, really easy to work with. So we'll continue the conversation and move it on to a commercial basis.
And Paul, given that the concept of embedded insurance is a hot topic right now at conferences all over the world, is there much competition popping up?
Yeah, there is. And it's interesting, you've got, particularly in the US, your competition tends to have much stronger funding. So one competitor of ours, they would have raised $15 million they would have had very little revenue, and they've raised about 15 million. So you're up against that. That's, and you can really you can gather a lot of traction with a lot of salespeople, a lot of developers with that kind of funding. So you really got to box clever and really kind of position yourself a little bit differently when you don't have that level of funding.
Finally, Paul, given that you've created 3 very successful separate insurtech businesses over the past 20 years, you're perfectly positioned to assess the insurance industry today. So beyond AI and embedded insurance, what do you think the next emerging trends are going to be?
So, climate change is a massive, massive issue, and you see it not in our business, but you see it where it's almost impossible to get insurance in certain parts of the state, in certain parts of Florida, in certain parts of California. Insurers just will not write any more business. So that's a massive, massive issue for everybody, not being able to get insurance. So governments are now coming into play. We have it. I'm from East Cork, and Middleton has been flooded badly. In the scheme of things, and very difficult for people and businesses and homeowners to get insurance. And governments are now having to step in and provide that backstop, because people obviously can't live their lives without insurance, but it's not commercially viable for insurance companies to provide that. So climate change is, it's so uncertain, and things are changing so quickly. So that's a very, very big issue.
Well, if you've just tuned in, that was Paul Prendergast from Kayna, and it will be exciting to watch the insurtech success in global markets.
Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Carl Fitzpatrick.